This is Slasher here at MLG Vegas 2016. I am here with Liquid's DaHang after a pretty rough loss against NRG 2-1 to knock you out of the tournament. That is also after a rough game against FaZe yesterday where it looked like you were going to win. So, I mean, talk me through the game you just played against NRG. Came down to the final map on Dorado, but they were able to take it in the end. What are your impressions after the games?
So I'll talk about Dorado, which is last map, because it's freshest in my mind. Attacking, first point offense was pretty sloppy. It's like we kind of traded some picks, but we didn't really get the true momentum we needed. We ended up capping the first point. Then at the very end of the second point, we just failed in our focus targeting. The Zarya was like really, really weak, but D.Va was on the cart, also really weak, but the D.Va was getting healed. So someone screaming D.Va, someone screaming Zarya in our voice communications. So our split targeting was not, or our focus targeting was split. So the Zarya at the very end got the grab off and basically secured a pretty good hold on their part. Their defense, we didn't even cap the second point. Then when we had to play defense Dorado, first point, the idea is, the thought process going in was, okay, if they run Zen, they're going to be pretty low on heals, so we can just plow in and take advantage. They won't be able to deal with the pressure, especially with an Ana grenade behind it. But what happened was, we want to first see what their comp is, obviously, so we're patiently waiting as they're rolling the cart up the hill. It's like 3:45 when you see the comp, and then they have a Pharah, and I'm like, okay, well, where's Pharah? Let's not do anything. Where's Pharah? Then 5 or so seconds later, someone just says, go in. And then all of a sudden, Pharah's hitting me in the back, and there's a monkey shield between me and the players that are diving. So it's just a really bad engagement. I can't heal people while I'm getting shot by a Pharah, and there's a monkey bubble in between me and my teammates, and there's 6 or 7 people like deep. So because of that, because we didn't just wait a little more patiently, give them a teeny bit of room, we had a really bad first engagement, and it kind of snowballed from there. I mean, we recovered a bit on the second point, but it's just not enough.
Would you say that communication problems came into play in this series or in the tournament?
Mainly this series, not the tournament. FaZe, we communicated really well, and we did versus NRG. It was just that one fight that has me pretty tilted because it was just given away unnecessarily. Just because our plan is to attack, kind of go in with a bubble for Mezzer as his Reinhardt and, bulldoze in. That's the plan of attack, but doesn't mean you just do it blindly. You have to wait for the moment to do it. Someone made the call, when we were not prepared to do that, so.
I mean, I do have to admit, from your games against FaZe and here at NRG, there's a good argument to be made that you should have won both of these series. On your online matches before coming to this week, you've also shown a tendency to lose series at the end of at the final games. Do you believe that there is maybe a problem of breaking down at the end of these series?
I don't know what it is lately. I think we did improve quite a lot actually in the past couple weeks. So what happened was BlizzCon, we had a big break because 2 of our players were gone, and then once they returned, we felt we were getting pretty much steamrolled in our scrims versus everybody that's relevant. And then we started really improving. I feel like we improved quite a lot in the last 2-3 weeks. And it's just, a random Roadhog hook there, a bad call there. If those are cleaned up, we can go really deep in a tournament like this. It's just like, that's the nature of Overwatch. Like, if you're not all 6 on point, committing to the same fight with the same idea in hand, not 3 people focusing D.Va, 3 people focusing Zarya, vice versa, then if we can fix those type of things, we're in good shape. But I don't think there's any fundamental issue. It's just we just need to be a little more disciplined and reinforce our comms even more strongly on the voice.
I mean, realistically, what were your expectations coming into this event? Do you feel like you had a good chance to go pretty deep?
Yes. I felt like top 4 minimum was really in our grasp. I mean, FaZe, it got to the 3rd map. If AZK, I don't know if you saw it, but Nimbani, we got a bad Roadhog hook death. 30 seconds left in overtime, first point. They needed to go a little bit farther in the second point, but there was like 30 seconds left there. If we don't get that hook, we're looking like we're in great shape to just take the series phase. Here versus NRG, like, there's always the what ifs, but, you know, if we didn't make a horrible commitment to that first fight Dorado defense, we might have full held them. That's complete speculation, but whatever would have happened, it would have been a better result, even if we still lost in the end.
I mean, as a team, you've been running 4 tanks, you know, quite a bit leading up to the event. Do you believe that the meta shift has affected the team's performance at all over the last few weeks going to the MLG?
I mean, I don't want to say necessarily the team's performance, because realistically, our games versus FaZe and NRG were like incredibly close. We could have won both of them. And then you could say, did it benefit us? I mean, it's like almost like a toss of a coin. But in general, I think, you know, we're right there at like, kind of like right among the top tier. We're not in the top tier, but like, you know, really close games against Kingdom and Fnatic that we've had, like Immortals, all the top NA teams, Cloud9, like we're competing at their level. You know, a team like Cloud9 are envious. Yes, they generally, you know, they'll get the better of us, but I think, you know, we're adapting to the meta just fine right now.
Are you enjoying it, personally?
No, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of like Mercy never being picked. I want it so, ideally, every single hero can be picked potentially. Like, you're not going to really see, I mean, look at the, you know, look in the metas in this particular tournament. How many times has Mercy been used? I don't even know if it's been used, maybe for like a brief King of the Hill last, I have no idea. I haven't seen it used. But my idea is, you know, every hero should be used or potentially be used. Mercy, for example, is never used. Zenyatta is not used enough. Lucio is still a pretty big hero. I'm thinking always in support in my head because I'm a support player. But yeah, I want the meta so you can't get away with 4 tanks. That's a given.
So, admittedly, of the potential issues for why tanks are heavily played right now, Ana is the first line of defense, more so than Roadhog and D.Va?
It's hard to say. All 3 of those heroes are too powerful in my opinion, all 3. D.Va is like, I mean, the 600 health plus all the armor she has is like insane. I feel like D.Va should not be a hero that you're just coming out of the gates with. I feel like she's like a utility hero to stall at the end, but that's my opinion, or like something just to get like high ground or for whatever reason on Hollywood or a map where you need high ground, but just coming out of the gates with that, I feel like that's not ideal for this game. She's way too powerful. Roadhog, like, the cooldown on the hook is 6 seconds, and the hook itself is pretty broken. Like, you can hook people you can't see. So it shouldn't. The hitbox is broken on that. And when you don't even get punished, you can just hook 6 seconds later. It's a one-shot kill mechanic from a tank. That doesn't make sense to me. And Ana, the grenade is so powerful. I think maybe I'm fine with the grenade generally, but maybe instead of 5 seconds of anti-heal / heal buff, it should be 4 seconds, something like that.
I mean, would that be enough to get rid of the heavy tank play?
Well, if all 3 of those, if we reduce D.Va to 500 health, if we do all these things, that's the thing you'll notice when Blizzard makes some updates. Like, if they're a marginal update, they can actually have a big impact. Like, no more nano boost speed means Reaper's completely gone. Like, there's always side effects. So you kind of have to wait for the game to play out to see what side effects there may be. You know, D.Va's in the meta so much, and now it makes Mercy less in the meta because it's the res plays are going to be really staggered. So I'm always in favor of like really marginal updates if we could get that going.
So before I get you out of here, a lot of people might not know I've known him probably longer than anyone here at MLG Vegas. In esports, over 13 years playing Quake 2 together for like 9 before moving over to Quake Live. So you didn't get to go to QuakeCon this year, but Quake Champions was shown off to the world. What do you think from the little bit that you've been able to see?
I mean, it's Quake, so I think it'll be a game I could definitely play and enjoy. That's not the #1 factor for me, though. It's how big will it be from a competitive and esports perspective. If it's just going to be QuakeCon only, and a little $5,000 online tournament here, a $2,000 online tournament there, I really won't be that interested. Because I just want to compete at this point, and I want to be in the biggest events for the game I'm playing with the most exposure and most intensity. So if Quake Champions picks up and it's huge, I'm definitely down. If it's not so huge and it's a niche community, I might not be found in it too much.
Did you get a little bit of an Overwatch vibe? Yeah, from watching the gameplay?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, similar concept heroes, and it's team-based, but, you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, I haven't even played it yet, so I'm down for whatever.
Well, you know what? As a longtime Quake player, my heart warms to see that you might go back to Quake and lose there too. Thank you, DaHang, in the interview.
Yeah, thank you.
Stay tuned, MLG Vegas 2016 Yahoo Esports for coverage all weekend long.